I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation to be here this morning and to finally hand over a small gift from the ministry, from government, on behalf of the children, for the children that go to school here. The gift of library books that are in the containers and on the table, and of a sewing machine that the ministry hopes will enhance the learning experience that you have at the school. As has been mentioned, the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation, we also look after those who live with disabilities and the elderly. So it's a great ministry to serve in. I was very encouraged to listen to the spiritual thoughts that were shared by the President this morning on the topics of service and purpose, something that drives us at the ministry each and every day, given the clientele that we serve. It is something that as executives of the ministry, we drive through to the officers that serve on the front line in the ministry. Given the clientele that we serve, I keep reminding the officers on the ground, we can have the qualifications to hold positions in government, and especially in our ministry. We can have degrees and masters and PhDs, but if we don't have compassion, all this will come to naught. And it is that I'd like to share a few thoughts on this morning. On the topics of purpose, of service, the nature of the service that we deliver in the ministry, and one of the greatest needs that I see within the ministry. I have highlighted the sectors of the Fijian population that we serve. With each sector comes humongous challenges that cannot be handled by government alone, that no policy, no law can address on its own. And one of the greatest strengths that I see in the delivery of services in the ministry is our partnership with non-government organizations, be it religious or otherwise. And herein is a great example of a non-government faith-based organization that continues to serve the Lord's purpose in alleviating the challenges that our population comes through each and every day. I know as a priority right here in the premises we're in, it's about education. And that in itself is a huge hallmark of the Fijian government's policies and programs. We've heard about the bus fare assistance that government gives, the tuition that government pays on behalf of our parents. I grew up in an age, and I'm sure all of your teachers here and the executives of the church, where we had to pay fees. It wasn't easy for parents. Children missing school because they couldn't afford bus fares. So living in this age, with government policies that we have in place, we are at a better advantage as students in any school in Fiji. Our role then, if government is doing that for us, that comes with a huge responsibility on us as children, on teachers, giving guidance to children, and as parents, as caregivers to the same children. The responsibility to ensure that government's efforts in this area does not go to waste. The church has provided us with a platform of great learning. Government is doing its bit. So I'm asking the children who are here today, you're here not by accident. You've been picked to be sitting here in this room for some reason. I may not know the reason, but I know that the teachers see in you students who are sitting here in this room You're sitting in some positions of power, I believe. You hold some sort of responsibility over a number of children in this school. With the power that you've been given, I see badges on you, like prefects maybe, class captains. That's a position of power that you occupy. With that position of power comes great responsibility. We've heard the president talk about service and purpose. In that position, you have a purpose. As a little girl growing up in the rural of Fiji, I grew up in Vuniwaqa. At that age, I didn't know about purpose. The purpose I knew about would be what my parents would be telling me to do each and every day, or what my teachers are telling me. But apart from that, you have a divine purpose on this earth. And this is the message as leaders in whatever capacity you hold, I'd like you to share with your friends. Each and every child that you have responsibility for has a divine purpose on this earth. How do you find the divine purpose? Right now you're in school. You give it your best. In whatever capacity that the Lord puts you in, you do your best. You give it your all. The purpose you may not realize now, but you will see it when you get there. It took me years to find my purpose, to know what my purpose was. But it started from that. I give my best at whatever I do in school. Encourage your friends. Be kind. Be compassionate. Help others. We're living through a period of great uncertainty in this world. The COVID pandemic has changed the way we see things in a way we never thought possible. Over the years, we may have heard of the Paris Agreement, for example, where the leaders of governments of this world met in Paris, negotiated for a united effort to decrease our carbon footprint on this earth. You may have heard of 1.5 degrees Celsius, trying to reduce the heat by 1.5 degrees Celsius. A lot of governments agreed, very strong governments opposed, because they had these huge industries, they'd have to reduce that in order to reduce the carbon footprint in their countries. What has COVID done? COVID just stopped all that. Industries closed, planes stopped flying. COVID is touted as a pandemic, but there's a great many good things that are coming out of it as well. We heard about service to others. The question was asked, during this COVID pandemic, can we still serve others? It's during difficulties like this that our antenna for service must be optimized. It's during difficulties like this that we have been given a bigger responsibility to look after those who may not have much, to look after those kids who may be coming to school without lunches. The spirit of sharing, the spirit of caring, the spirit of loving each other must be multiplied even more during this difficult time. So I thank the church. I thank the church for the great purpose that you're serving in this institution for the children of this country, for the spiritual guidance that is so critical to their learning as well. The little bit that's here before you today is a hand from the ministry to enhance that learning experience with the hope that it will help you find that purpose that you already have. And with those few words, thank you again for this opportunity to be here, and I hope for the executives of the church, the president is here, that this will be a start to a better and stronger relationship between the Fiji Mission SDA Church and the Ministry of Women, Children, and Poverty Alleviation. It would be remiss of me if I sit down without identifying the great challenges I spoke about in the ministry that I serve. We heard a bit about gender-based violence. That's one of the hugest challenges that we're facing as a country. Child abuse is another one. Gone are the days when the campaign against child abuse or bringing out awareness on child abuse with the slogan, "Don't talk to strangers." That used to be the slogan, it's not anymore. When we're looking at the circumstances surrounding child abuse in our country now, it's more likely that it's somebody that the child knows is the perpetrator rather than a stranger. It's more likely that the abuse is happening in the home rather than outside of the home, or in a place of trust, like a church or a school, than outside of those places of trust. So the question becomes, if that is happening, what is happening to us as a country? What is happening to the fabric of our society? The basic unit of every society, the family, what is happening to that? And what role do we play as religious organizations, as educational institutions? What role do we play in assisting the whole nation, assisting government in alleviating the abuse that our women are facing and the abuse that our children are facing on a daily basis? So I hope that going forward, I'm encouraged you already have a program within the church itself to address gender-based violence. I would like to have a conversation with the executives on how we can partner, form a strong partnership in these regards, to see how we can help each other out, to pass ideas onto each other on how we can address gender-based violence and the abuse of children in our country.
Today is an exciting day for the school, especially when the minister, Honorable Minister for Women, Children and Poverty Alleviation are visiting us to donate library books and also a sewing machine. As you know, a school library is the heart of the school, and of course it will greatly benefit the students here. There are 724 students here. They are not all Adventists as some would have assumed. There's about 284 non-Adventists. So it's a multiracial school, multi-religious school as well.
Thank you.